And this afternoon in the marketplace, government insists measures outlined in the mid-year budget review will fast-track the recovery of the economy.
The various stakeholders, and it is being assessed. And so I believe that in the short to medium term, we hear from government on this flat rates or making tax as easily accessible.
Also, the Ghana Revenue Authority and Gaming Commission to sign a memorandum of understanding to aid in taxing gaming industry.
And therefore, we will not put the budget as something for the whole year, but we'll look at what will be done towards the half of the year going. So I think that as far as the plan is concerned, we are on course. And therefore, we hope that we'll still be able to raise that amount of money by the end of the year.
Also, what turned out to be an our-day wish list ends up as a trending social media frenzy as corporate Ghana rushes in to gifts and learning materials to make the end-of-term celebrations of a 9-year-old Oswald a memorable one. And of course, we explore how putting a smile on the faces of Christ Ambassador School positions the brand portfolio of companies that made donations to this effect. We have all these stories coming up shortly after this break. This day. My name is Charles Aite. To our first story, government has maintained that measures outlined in the mid-year budget review will fast-track the recovery of the economy. The Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, rolled out programs that will address revenue leakages, check rising expenditure, and create required jobs. However, there are concerns about the timing of these measures, among other decisions. But speaking on PM Express, Deputy Finance Minister Apnel Sare says that these programs have well been targeted.
It's true. The last speaker mentioned about the flat rate tax. It's something we are reviewing because we've gone around, and these are some of the concerns that our stakeholders are raising, and it is something that we are looking at, and we believe that in the short to medium term we will have something in that regard.
Madam, sorry. So how soon? If you're going to review it next budget?
No, it is something. No, before you do these things, you need to engage your stakeholders.
Okay.
We have met the various stakeholders, and it is being assessed. And so I believe that in the short to medium term, we hear from government on this flat rates or making tax as easily accessible for everyone to be able to pay. And then another panel also mentioned the impact of all these programs that government is embarking on. When you look at the implementation of the national ID and linking it to our passports, our driver's license, and you having your tax identification number. Previously, the thing for the total population of this country was around 5.5 million. Now, with the introduction of the NIA and all these other interventions, we have about 15 million people with their tax identification numbers. So clearly, we are expanding or increasing the tax nets.
Well, speaking on the same program, economist Dr. Ebutaxin was excited that government was measured on its expenditure for the rest of the year and rather making a job creation a major priority.
We're excited that our economy has looking like we're moving on the road to more growth, and expecting that by 2023 we will have made a lot of gains in terms of our macro stability and so on and so forth. The pandemic hit in March, and of course, every country in the global economy had to struggle with having to lose some revenue and having to incur extra expenditure to the extent that our GDP went up. In the 2021 budget, the alternative for government was, so how are we going to do this? Are we going to borrow all along and fund whatever deficits, or we combine the two alternatives that we have? Structurally, that is how most African economies have been built. Not until we are able to formalize most of our economic activities and rely on direct taxes by collecting income taxes, we are going to always, as much as possible, combine some tax revenue generation with some borrowing. I would not, for one moment, pretend that this government can develop this economy without borrowing. I mean, we need to take a second look at the structure of our economy. And the transformation that we need in this economy is to create jobs, formalize the economy, and then begin to collect revenue. When the economy has expanded and jobs have been created, we are going to move to the next phase of the structural transformation, where we are going to be able to raise enough revenue that our appetite for borrowing will decline, and we are going to look beyond aid. So I was excited about the next stage of the CARES program and the precise policies the minister outlined that the government was going to pursue.
Well, let's stay on this matter because financial consultant Charles Mensah has maintained that young entrepreneurs in the rural area should also be given much consideration regarding the job creation agenda.
I must admit that there are quite a number of positives in it, especially the ones to do with technology. GRA, Registrar General, the digitalization of the system. So it makes it interesting. I have experience. Some of my clients were to pay your taxes, not exactly how much you ought to pay or you are paying, but then the processes have been reduced in such a way that it's easier for you now to log on and make the necessary payment. So it makes things very interesting. The point about Ghana Enterprise Agency, for instance, I like the way the minister put it, but I would love to suggest that you see some of the jobs can be created in the rural areas. So I always love linkages. Is it possible to link the Apex Bank to the Ghana Enterprise Agency? Because the rural banks are all over the place. They have the Apex Bank. If anything would happen positively, then we must link them. But I didn't hear anything in the budget review for the rural banks because they are there. And we deal with the people directly in the rural areas. So if we deal with them positively, it will keep the rural urban migration. And it's very, very important that we look at this thing.
Charles Mensah is the financial consultant. Well, there's been a mixed reaction from members of parliament on the media review presentation by the finance minister Ken Ofori-Atta and the decision not to request for additional funding for government business. While the majority welcomes the move, members of the minority think otherwise. Here's a wrap on reactions by members of parliament.
This is the first time in a while that government has decided to abstain from reviewing its tax policies and requesting additional funds in the budget review for the year. According to the finance minister Ken Ofori-Atta, all economic targets are on track, hence no need for a review.
The Ghana incentive states and risk sharing scheme for agriculture and PSL, Ghana Commodity Exchange DCS, Venture Capital Trust Fund, and the restructured Ghana Enterprise Agency, formerly NTSSI. Anchor a new age of entrepreneurship, job creation, and wealth building for our post-COVID transformation.
The minister also hinted of an aggressive policy under the Ghana Cares Obatampa program to create about 1 million jobs. Deputy Minority Leader James Kluche Aveji describes the policy as an empty one since government has failed to complete most of its employment initiatives.
I'm not asking for additional funding. Where's the budget for it? Which area are you going to cut? Which is not even in the budget that I'm cutting expenditure from expenditure A, then I'll use that one to provide 1 million jobs for the youth. It is not going to happen. It won't happen. There's no budget for it.
You keep saying they have a track record.
I'm saying that there is no budget for the 1 million you want to employ, you want to generate. So for that matter, it will not happen. Let me excuse me to say it's a lie.
Chairman of the Finance Committee, Kweku Kwating, however, disagrees.
You do not need to ask for additional money in order to create jobs. In fact, jobs created as a result of government using the taxpayers' money to create opportunities to pay people are not necessarily jobs in the true sense. As soon as you begin to manage the fiscals right, so that the macroeconomic indicators look good, and investors can see that going forward the economy would pick up, the private sector invests and creates the jobs.
Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Abu Jinapo, on his part, said the job creation agenda of government will be manifested through economic growth.
That we are going to launch the National Alternative Employment and Livelihood Program, a program which seeks to provide employment to illegal miners who are falling out of the cracks. We are going to reclaim the lands as well. We are going to engage in reforestation. We are going to have agricultural. We are going to have agro-processing. We are going to have apprenticeship. We are going to enhance community mining. We are going to have mine support services.
The media presentation was used by the minister to update the House on the performance of government in the first half of the year.
Well, the Ghana Revenue Authority says it is on course to achieve its revenue target of 400 million cedis of taxes from the gaming industry. The Commissioner General of the GRA, Reverend Amishada Owusu-Amwa, made these comments during the signing of a memorandum of understanding between the GRA and the Gaming Commission to harness revenue from all taxable sources.
The 2021 budget statement and economic policy taxed the Ghana Revenue Authority to mobilize revenue of 400 million cedis of taxes from the Gaming Commission. To this end, the GRA and the Gaming Commission has signed a memorandum of understanding to collaborate and identify players in the gaming industry. But engaging the media at the signing ceremony, Commissioner General of the GRA, Reverend Amishada Owusu-Amwa, said it's committed to meeting its target.
Yeah, is to collaborate with the Gaming Commission as a revenue agency and be able to come out with methods and ways of ensuring effective collection of taxes as far as the gaming industry is concerned. And as we had mentioned, what we have to look at the whole industry, come out with modalities, come out with the manual, come out with the process flow for collecting the taxes, come out with the system that will allow us to be able to effectively collect the taxes. And this is what we have worked on from the beginning of the year. And now that we are set, we are ready to be able to start collecting the taxes. And as you see, the method of the games have moved on in terms of the way it's been done. Previously, most of the games are done manually. Today, most of them are done electronically through our phones. And it's a matter of a touch of a button, and you are able to join in the game. In budgeting, normally we look at, when we were budgeting last year, we have taken into consideration the fact that the early part of the year will be taken into developing an effective way of doing it. And therefore, we will not put the budget as something for the whole year, but we'll look at what will be done towards the half of the year going. So I think that as far as the plan is concerned, we are on course. And therefore, we hope that we'll still be able to raise that amount of money by the end of the year.
On his part, Commissioner of the Gaming Commission, Peter Mreku, assured the GRA of the Commission's commitment and cooperation to help identify potential taxpayers in the gaming industry.
But like we were saying, this MOU is a collaboration between the two of us. The whole idea is to work together with them to be able to raise money for the consolidated fund. We are regulators in the gaming space, and we are going to provide the necessary data for them to be able to tax the operators, or i.e., or I would say the punters who are in the gaming space.
You're still watching The Marketplace. Now, a 9-year-old boy called Oswald is trending on Twitter. He sent his mother an Our Day wish list, and it has gone viral. Corporate Ghana rushed to provide the Christ Ambassador School with goodies to make the end-of-term celebrations a memorable one. Oswald cried, and Corporate Ghana responded. Take a listen.
First, I wanted her to really buy it so that she will not forget. Because usually when I tell her to buy something, she forgets.
Oh, okay. So that is why you gave her a list.
Yes.
Wow. In there also you added that your iPad should be brought to school because you want to take pictures and all of that with it. Do you have your iPad with you now?
No, it's in the classroom.
Oh, it's in the classroom. A lot of people are quite surprised about how you were specific with the things that you wrote. Yes. Tell us, why were you so specific?
Because I wanted her to buy the real size I wanted. Because some of them, I cannot finish them all.
Oh, okay. So you can't take 1 liter, so you wanted a small bottle?
Yes.
Now, one lesson that you've taught a lot of Ghanaians as well with your letter is selflessness. How not to be selfish. The first person who came on your list was your class teacher, Mrs. Apia. Tell us, why Mrs. Apia?
Because she treats me well.
Adorable, but of course, the kind gesture largely appreciated by corporate Ghana has, gained so much traction. But help us understand, what exactly entered into this. Let's listen to one of our partners, Jole, on the reasons why they donated.
Oswald's dream is every child's dream.
Okay.
And seeing our name on the list meant a lot to us as a company.
Okay.
As a result, we wanted to be part of this day and to make it very memorable for him, and especially Mrs. Apia for the good job she's doing with these kids. All of us have been children before.
Yeah.
We cannot let this slide. So we want to be part of this. And indeed, as he mentioned, Dole yogurt is the most nutritious and potassium-filled and zinc-filled yogurt in the country. Okay. And we want to make sure that on this special day, we come and celebrate with them, with his good performance, as he told the mom at the footnote, that he has performed well in the exams. They shouldn't pass by. So Dole yogurt is here to show Oswald and Mrs. Apia the best of love, and to extend to all other staff members and people in this school as well.
Well, of course, the kind gesture largely appreciated, but for businesses, we are looking at the brand positioning strategy of this. We ask how putting a smile on the faces of the less privileged positions a company's brand portfolio. Well, joining us via Zoom is Stephen Nase-Boadi, a digital marketing and communications consultant, as well as Emmeline Date, a brand expert. Ladies and gentlemen, we're so grateful that you joined us. Let me start off with you, Emmeline. Where do you see brand positioning strategy in the quest by corporate Ghana to put a smile on Oswald's face?
Thank you very much for your time, and to your cherished viewers. It's quite interesting how something so touching and so deep can be very impactful on the minds of people. Companies thrive on customers, and anything to get customers on board, companies will jump on it. Your customers are basically attracted to you per the perception of what your brand is and how well connected they are to it. And issues like this, when it comes to social issues, very well, are things that people really connect with. One other smart way is there that for companies to plug into this beautiful story that is trending over social media, for them to see how relevant they are to social issues, bearing in mind that customers respect companies and even expect companies to be socially responsible. So yes, corporate Ghana is doing well. If you can see, so many people have seen what is happening, and you can imagine how many people get to know about these products that some of us have never heard about before. So it is a very strategic way to position your brand in the right direction.
Great. That's quite interesting. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, how do we draw the line between profiteering and corporate donations?
Thank you very much, Charles, and thank you. I can't remember my colleague's name. Thank you. I think you're right. It's very good for corporate Ghana and for brands everywhere to take advantage of such opportunities. The challenge, though, is that it's not a good story for everyone. Every brand can actually do very well, because the reality is that customers expect their brands to be sympathetic, to give, and not be seen to be opportunistic. And that's what is coming off, with some of the activities that are being done. So it's all right to jump on and want to donate to the school. That's great. But the way some brands have executed it, I think they need to rethink it, because brands can punish it. Customers can punish you when they feel that you're just taking advantage of the opportunity. Like, I've seen some of the videos. They've already said it on the school premises, and they're all over the place, and they're even being disruptive. We've also seen some brands that are not related in any way to the conversation jumping on, like condom brands. That's challenge there. So you don't want that, because people expect brands to do their CSR and to give to society, in the quiet. I mean, even going there to pull up banners and stuff is a bit pushing it, but we may allow that.
So you feel that we must measure the issues regarding being opportunistic in that aspect. But we cannot really verify the fact that condom brands are currently on the school premises. But let me bring in Emmeline once again, because even as we're having these massive donations to Oswald and his classmates and even the teacher in question, we're also getting, great feedback from the education sector and whatnot. How can we streamline corporate social responsibility amidst matters regarding direct customer needs?
Okay, if I get your question well, CSRs are basically tools that corporate Ghana or corporate worlds use to try to engage and attract their customers. Because like I said earlier, customers are really expecting companies to be socially responsible. In line with the extreme, if you're to connect it, I mean, once customers get to understand that you're not thinking about them, but thinking about what you want, then it becomes a problem. So customers, CSR projects are basically things you need to be very careful about. It's a way of communicating your brand out. So the moment you miscommunicate your brand, then it can hurt you. But the moment you communicate your brand in such a way that I care for the society or the community I find myself doing business in, then obviously it becomes, it gets a positive impact on goodwill and profitability of the company. I don't know if I got the question right and I answered it appropriately, Charles.
Great, but even moving forward, how do we also assess the strategy of marketing amidst this trending story?
Okay, so I believe every organization has its marketing strategy and its objective, as well as its variables to measure. In recent times, our study has shown that it's quite difficult to actually compare CSR activities to, bottom line. But at the end of the day, what you can measure, what is quantifiable, what is smart about objectives will determine the kind of even corporate social responsible projects that you churn out of. So, for example, you hear a bottling company saying that for every bottle you buy, 1 CD goes to the cardiothoracic center of Kolebu. So, if we are able to see that Kolebu has been able to enjoy benefits from that company, then automatically, yes, there's been an impact. And the moment Kolebu enjoys from that, and when that is advertised, then you see that, yes, your customers are actually responding to sales. And that is one way to measure the impact of your corporate social responsibility on your profitability of the organization.
So finally, how much is too much?
I think my colleague who just left to actually write. When you're trying to communicate something to people, it is said that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. If every impact you make is changing the lives of people, then that is all right. But if you're making so much noise and people's lives are not changing, then I think you're just beating about the bush. You're just wasting your time. When you CSR projects are not supposed to be flamboyant for the company. It's supposed to be impactful for the society. So measuring what I've said, as at making so much noise, coming to show off, as against trying to make an impact and ensuring that the society actually enjoys the benefits of what you're doing. There you can find the balance between whether it is too much or actually is impactful.
Emmeline, we're so grateful for your inputs there. And also we're thankful to Stephen Aseboedi, both digital marketing and communications consultant on the Our Day Frenzy, which is trending on social media as we speak. But moving ahead, the Ministry of Land and Natural Resources has stated that a new task force will be formed and deployed to control small-scale mining operations in the country. The task force will specifically ensure legally registered small-scale miners are working within the remit of their licensing. Now, the composition of the task force remains unclear, but members of the Ghana National Association of Small-Scale Miners are expected to be a part. Nanaya Aljima has more in this report.
With scanning equipment, the task force is expected to scan documentation displayed openly to ascertain authenticity. Miners are expected to put up physical structures in the concession, including a clinic, to make mining professional and ensure safety of staff. Deputy Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, George Mirkuduka, says the task force will work towards ensuring the miners work within the remits of the law.
A task force, ye ba betie no bo a me betumi a hye mo ne say mo task force am wo no ye nya wo mu ye de mo beka.
With the task force we are setting up, the pledge is that the association's task force will not be left out. The task force do not need the owner of the concession before they work there. They only scan the documents displayed on the mine. They will also inspect that the mining is done responsibly.
And now so begin how be so oh indeed we a small scale mining concession.
The Ghana National Association of Small Scale Miners has accepted an offer to have its members on the task force. Already, the association is using self-drafted regulations to ensure its members mine responsibly. Abdul Razak Al-Hassan speaks for the association.
Our members, the only thing we've been telling them from time immemorial, do the right thing, mine responsibly, make sure that your site is genuine, your site looks more responsible, and we keep on as from today. We will make sure we have some ethics that everybody must follow, and they make sure that they will do the right thing. So our members, we are assuring them, we will go after them. Anybody who is doing the wrong thing, we ourselves will take it up and make sure that we will stop you from doing the illegalities.
For JoyNews, Nana Elchima, Kumasi.
That's how we bring to an end this edition of The Marketplace. My name is Charles Aita. For more news, you log on to myjoyonline.com, where you could find all the trending business stories. Our leading story, you can see, expect massive improvements in power supply by December. That's from the Energy Minister amid, bouts of power outages across the country. Also, government commended for adopting caution's approach and staying within its budget. That's a reaction to the mid-year supplementary budget. We have more news as this nature and others in politics, sports and entertainment on myjoyonline.com. You may want to make a date to read and get updated. But that's it for The Marketplace. Many thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of our programs.